Okay, everybody, deep breath. You're done. In about an hour, a little less, it's Christmas. If you forgot to get somebody a gift, you're done. Unless you want to do that last minute, get something on the internet, gift certificate printout on the home printer thing, you're welcome for the suggestion. And I know from a liturgical point of view, Christmas is really 12 days, but to wait till then to send out your Christmas cards is a little lame, so let's not even think about that. You're done. Get comfortable in your pew, relax and enjoy this service of worship. There's no more need to be stressed or anxious about getting the right gift, sending out the cards, remembering everybody on the list. The best we could do at this point is a rain check and a resolution to do better next year. That's it. Unless, of course, you consider the potential anxiety of wondering if, when that special someone opens that special gift tomorrow, it will be as good as you thought it would be, or will that gift fall on its face and you be disappointed? I remember on one occasion giving my wife Marianne a gift, and I prefaced the presentation with the words, "This is something you didn't ask for and probably don't want." Turned out I was right on both counts. Sometimes gifts are like that, aren't they? As we heard the preacher say last Sunday, maybe you'll get a tie or a sweater that will go in the closet for 2 years, and then you'll give it to Goodwill, or something else you don't really care for. But hey, it's the thought that counts, remember? I wonder if God had some of those same reservations and anxiety about the gift of God come down to us. I wonder if God wondered how we might receive that gift. I wonder if God was nervous at all about becoming a baby, and then whether or not the gift would be accepted or would be tucked away until it could be forgotten, ignored, neglected. I wonder if God had any of those anxieties. Is a gift only a gift if it's received in the spirit in which it was given? If the gift remains unopened, uncherished, is it any less a gift? Is the gift of God any less gift? Because sometimes we could care less about the precious nature of this gift, God's self in our midst. If you're having any of those anxieties or misgivings about a gift that you bought that might not be as good as you first thought it was, maybe you get a little bit of insight into what God might have been thinking and feeling prior to offering God's self to us. It's a risk, isn't it, sisters and brothers? What you feel might be perfect, might not be. It's a risk for God to come to us, to give God's self fully to us, because what God considers wonderful, we might not really care about after all. You know, like when you were a kid. Remember as you started to get older and you were just about outgrown the age of getting toys? Well, maybe not in your mind, but in the mind of your parents or your grandparents or that aunt who never knew what to get you anyway. So they started to buy you, remember this first one, practical gifts. Socks or, God forbid, underwear. You can probably still get that feeling of your heart falling into your stomach opening a package of underwear for Christmas. It might not have been something you wanted, but your aunt in her practicality felt it was something that you needed, which maybe you didn't appreciate at the time. It was a risk that she took to give you that gift. And maybe it never did go appreciated, or the words were never spoken. God takes a risk at Christmas. God takes a risk that the gift will be ignored, or worse, rejected. Oh, I know what some of you are thinking. God never takes a risk because God knows the outcome. And if you know the outcome, it's not really a risk, is it? In fact, in the stock market, if you know the outcome, it's not only not a risk, but it's illegal. If you get an inside tip, then you could be thrown into jail for trading that way, so there really is no risk. And so we might say that God is something of an insider trader, knowing the outcome of the giving of this gift. God wasn't really taking a risk after all. But that's only true if you know that your risk is going to pay benefits. What if your risk is going to cost you more than you intended or knew about? That's kind of the way it is with God and the risk that God takes. After all, as God gave God's self to us at Christmas, look how that risk paid off. You remember the story. Crucifixion, the gift not just rejected, but despised, hated, misunderstood, abandoned. The gift of God's self, thrown away, trampled upon. Was that not risk on God's part to know the consequence and to give the gift anyway? Risk and love? So much more the love. And it seems that every time Christmas rolls around and we have a beautiful service to celebrate Christ's birth, and hear the story again about a manger and angels and shepherds and wise men and all those things we've come to love as we associate them with the Christmas story, it seems again that every year God takes that same risk. And as Christmas becomes more and more commercialized, as it becomes more and more a holiday that helps retailers make ends meet towards the end of the year, it seems that God, over and over again, takes that risk. And through the midst of all that noise, and all that attraction, and all that anxiety, and all that preparation, we might well miss the greatest gift of all. We might miss it because it's small. We might miss it because it's gentle. We might miss it because it's free. Free and priceless. So once again, like you and I, God takes a risk. Will the gift be accepted, appreciated, cherished, loved? Well, you might ask, and rightly so, exactly what is this gift? We call it God's self, we call it Jesus, but what does that mean for us here and now? What is this gift that Jesus is? What is the meaning of it? The power of it? The purpose of it? Suppose that would be another whole sermon, which I will not grace you with tonight. But perhaps most clearly and briefly put, that gift is the knowledge that you are loved, that you are precious. And maybe that's a gift we don't want or don't believe. Maybe that's a gift we don't trust or don't embrace the reality of. And yet, that, sisters and brothers, is the gift. That despite what it sometimes seems in the midst of your hectic life, despite the word that you occasionally receive from other people, even those most dear to you, the bedrock reality of your life and who you were created to be is that you are loved and precious. And the question for us, will we receive the gift? Will we acknowledge the truth of this reality? Will we open our hearts and minds and wrap them around this gracious good news? Will we believe that God has come down to walk with us and among us and for us because God, the creator of the universe, God, the beginning and end of all things, believes that you are worth it. That's the gift. It's no less a gift if we don't receive it. It's just a gift that has no power for us. It's a tie or a sweater put on the shelf to be forgotten, never taken out, to make us look good or keep us warm or give us life or strengthen us or help us in our walk. It's a gift given freely. And the question for us is, will we accept it? Maybe not all at once, maybe little by little. Maybe we keep remembering the gift and eventually our minds and our hearts change. We become convicted that it might actually in some way be true. That God might indeed love us. That despite the great risk that turns out to cost God God's own life, we're worth it. And so life becomes the answer and the gift itself. It's a gift. One we do nothing to earn, but one freely given. It's just my imagination that God is sitting on the edge of that heavenly throne. God is peeking over the clouds or around the corner of your Christmas tree. That God is looking over your shoulder to see if you like the gift, if you receive it and love it and let it change you. It may just be my imagination. It might also be true. In any case, there's the gift. May you receive it in your heart. May it strengthen you in your life and be worthwhile into eternity.